Hey, folks on YouTube. So I watched Obsession about a week ago. So let's talk about the movie. So Baron is in love with Nikki. Baron is in love with Nikki. They work together with their other two friends at a music store. Baron has the biggest crush on Nikki. He doesn't know how to tell her, so he's talking with one of his other friends. The other friend name is Ian, and Ian saying, "Hey man, you have to just go out there and just tell her how you feel. Just tell her how you feel that you have a crush on her." And also with these four friends, they have known each other, I believe, since elementary school. And the character Baron, he's kind of passive, aggressive, he's a shy guy. He doesn't really know how to express himself. So anyway, in this movie, he's on the phone with Nikki. And Nikki, she dropped her necklace down the drain or something like that. So Baron is meeting up with Nikki, but before he meets up with her and his other, the other two friends, he decides to go to a store and he's looking to buy a necklace for her. He's looking to buy a necklace for her, but then he comes across this One Wish Willow. He decides to buy that, and with the One Wish Willow, you make a wish, and his wish was for Nikki to be in love with him, to love him more than anyone else in the world. Before I get into the review, we have to talk about the box office. The movie is doing well at the box office, so I am happy that it is doing well. This is a win for horror fans and also for the horror genre. The movie had a budget of $750,000, and thus far, the movie has made over $300 million worldwide. So that is super awesome. With that being said, with the performances were great. This movie is a slow burn, especially it takes I feel like it takes a lot of I feel like it's kind of repetitive at times, and the pacing is just like, to me at least, I wasn't really crazy about it. I will say that this movie, there was sometimes it was just funny, just especially with trying to think of the character Nikki. She was just like how you see them together. Nikki's like, "Hey, I want to tell you something, but I don't know how to tell you." And then he doesn't tell her. And then he makes the wish, and then she comes back outside to it. She comes back out to his car and says, "Hey, I think I'm in love with you," or whatever. And then Nikki, not Nikki, Baron, he doesn't believe it at first. He's like, "I know that this One Wish Willow, this piece of junk can't be true. This is just some nonsense." And then you see the movie, like I said, it is a slow burn, and then it builds up to the point where Baron realizes that the wish, that it did come true, and that Nikki is off the wall, and she becomes unhinged, and like the other two friends, they're like, "What is going on with Nikki? She's not herself. She's making up stories and all that kind of stuff." So anyway, I think the story, like the way that the movie, I guess, like the build up, I enjoyed the build up, but like I said before, the pacing of this movie, I just was not a fan of it. I feel like it didn't have a good flow. And also, the other thing for me is just sometimes they were like the indie, like how she would. Let me just say this: when she would change, like she would be normal at first, and then the next minute she would just be off the wall, and you would just see her like she's being nice and calm, and then the next minute or whatever, she's just screaming, being obnoxious, just off the wall. So I feel like that actress, her name is Indy, I feel like who plays Nikki, I feel like she did a great job. That was really good, but I just feel like this movie overall, I feel like it is a little overrated. I feel like it is at times. You're speaking of the yelling and screaming. You're going to get that when you watch these kind of movies, thrillers or, horror movies. But at times, it feels like at least when I was watching it, it just felt like there was a couple times where it was just, the yelling was like almost like kind of like nonstop. And it was just like, okay, I get the point. You don't have to keep on, you don't have to keep on doing that. So I didn't like that at times because I felt like someone was yelling at me. And I know that sounds weird, but so I wasn't a fan of that. Like I said, with the performances of the main characters, I enjoyed. But overall, as a movie, this wasn't this. I didn't have any expectations because I heard about it. I didn't even watch the trailer. So I just went out to go see it because I love horror movies and I want to support horror movies. But to me, overall, this movie just it feels like it's just yeah, I would say that it is overrated. I don't really get the hype. A lot of other people they enjoyed this movie, but I really wasn't crazy about it. Was it a terrible movie? Of course not, because a lot of people love it. But to me, opinions are subjective. I don't think it was a great movie. I mean, no, it wasn't terrible, but it was just not my kind of movie. Like I said, not to sound like a broken record at this point, but it was repetitive at times. It was too slow. It dragged. I really wanted them to get into things a little quicker. And this movie was, what did I say, 1 hour and 49 minutes. It felt a lot longer. So I wasn't crazy about it. Please let me know how did you feel about it. And take care and have a good one.